All right, when we left off, we were on the UI for the Move Fast app, and now we're going to work on adding in the score and the timer and programming the reset button, which are some of the basic functions that the Move Fast app needs that it doesn't currently have. Now, when we left off, this is what my UI looked like. When I'm looking at this, one thing that I see that I don't really like is that the score and the timer are kind of squished together in the middle, and the start and the reset buttons are kind of squished together in the middle. So before I move on, I'm going to fix that a little bit by adjusting some things. First, I'm going to take a label and I'm going to drag it out and I'm going to put it in between the score and the timer. And I'm going to set the width to 40%, and then I'm going to remove the text, so therefore it's just kind of a blank label. And then I'm going to go up to the score and I'm going to set the width for score to 25%, and then I'm going to do the same thing for timer. Set the width to 25%. Okay, so now that looks better. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom down here. I'm going to put the text. I'm going to set this one a little bit less, let's say 30%. And then I'm going to remove the text. And then I'm going to go to the start button and I'm going to make this one a little bit bigger. Let's say 25%. Okay, and then we'll do reset button. And I'm going to make that 25%. Okay, so now my UI is looking a little bit better. One thing that I see also that I don't like is that it's displaying this screen 1 up here, and what I can do is go up here, click screen 1, and then choose title visible and get rid of that, and then that gets rid of that title at the top of the screen. Okay, now we're going to go over to our blocks. Okay, and what we can see is that they've already given us some blocks. When the screen starts, it sets where the target and the water balloon are going to be. It tells us what happens when you fling the water balloon sprite. The target sprite's going to bounce when it reaches the edge. When the water balloon sprite reaches the edge, it's going to go back to the beginning. And then when the water balloon sprite is collided, we've got some stuff happening here. Okay. Now, we've only got one variable set right now, which is the score, but we need another one. We need the timer. So we're going to pull out from variable drawer, we're going to pull out initialize global, and we're going to change this to timer. Okay, now they told us that they wanted the people to have 1 minute to earn as many points as possible. So we're going to set the timer to 60. We're going to pull that out and we're going to type in 60. So we're setting the timer to 60. Okay, now let's do the first thing is what happens when the clock fires. So that's going to set up our timer. So let's go, oh, we did not put a clock. So we got to go back to designer and we're going to scroll down and we're going to click on sensors and we're going to pull out a clock and just drop it anywhere. And we're going to check and make sure it says timer interval 1000. Okay, now we're going to come back here and we're going to scroll down to clock and we're going to do when clock 1 timer. And we're going to do, when the clock is enabled, we want the timer to change. So global timer, we're going to do math and we're going to do minus. get global timer minus 1. So what that will do is every time the clock ticks off 1,000 milliseconds or a second, the timer variable will go down by 1. And so that's going to change our timer variable, but that's not going to change what the user sees on the UI. So we've got to go here to timer label, and we're going to do set timer label text to, and we got to do join, and we're going to do timer colon, and then we're going to duplicate that one, get global timer. Okay, so that's going to show our timer ticking down. Okay, now when our water balloon collides with the target, we want it to increase the score. So we want to do an if then. Yes. Okay, so if we want to do equals if get other equals target sprite, then we want to increase the score. So we're going to set global score to get global store plus 1. Okay. Now that increases the global score, but it doesn't show the user that the global scores increase. So we've got to go to set score label text to join score colon and get global score. Okay. All right, so now that's got our score set, and we've got our timer firing. Now we need to set our start button, or get our start button going. So we're going to go here to our start button, when start button clicked. So when start button's clicked, we want our timer to start. We want our timer to start, so we're going to do set clock 1 enabled, timer enabled, logic true. Okay. And we also want to set the target sprite. Okay, so we want the target sprite to start moving. So we're going to set target speed, and we're going to do target sprite interval. And then we're going to get our number, and we're going to do 5 and 5. Okay, so that's going to start our target moving, and it's going to start our timer counting down. Now with our reset button, we want to do, when reset button clicked, our clock is going to turn off. So set timer enabled is going to be false. Okay, and then we want we want it to go back to the original spot. So I'm going to duplicate these two. Okay, nope, we want it here. Okay, so that's going to reset the time, and it's going to reset the target and the water balloon sprite, but we also want to reset the score. So we want to set global score to 0, and we want to set the timer to 60. Okay, and we need to reset our timer label and our score label. So I'm just going to duplicate that. And I'll duplicate this one. Alright, so that is going to reset everything. Alright, now I'm going to test it out and see how that works.